let's start off in the AFC East. Last year, the New England Patriots won the AFC East with a 12-4 record. Buffalo Bills was 10-6. Jets was 7-9. Miami Dolphins 5-11. What are your expectations for each team in this division? Let's go.
First of all, I'm gonna keep it real short and simple. And I want to, because I'm so excited for the NFL tomorrow, man. Now we about to talk football back, baby. That's what we gonna do. But I think for the expectation of the Patriots, it's Cam Newton moment. Can he lead this team and keep the winning culture alive in New England? Because believe it or not, people thought that when Brady leaves, the Patriots is going to be horrible. But can Cam Newton lead this team to the NFC? And my expectation for the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen, you have a number one option. You have the number one option in the NFL, like one of the top receivers in Stephon Diggs. It's time for you to show up. It's time to live your moment, man. For the Jets, I try to be smooth, though, because they traded Jamal Adams, and that was controversial. I'm like, wow, y'all swapped them out quick. I think this is Darnold moment, too. Like, if you're a quarterback that can play in this NFL, you need to come in this NFL and show it. Like, this is their moment to probably actually surprise a couple teams because they have a nice setup, but time will tell. And the last one, Dolphins. Now, I saved them for last because you did say that Tua Tagavailoa is going to have a better career than Joe Burrow.
Yes, I did.
Said that.
I did.
Now, old man Ryan Fitzpatrick won the starting job for Miami. So he's going to be starting against the Patriots this Sunday.
Yeah.
Now, for him, I think that's still the best decision because you don't know, you want to mold Tua in. But I think they're in position that, I think, build now and win later. They in that type of situation. But that's my expectation for the AFC East, though.
Okay, let me start out with the Miami Dolphins, where you ended at. I think the Miami Dolphins are heading in the right direction with Brian Flores as their head coach. They signed Byron Jones and Kyle Van Noy in free agency. Also brought in Shaq Lawson. So I like the additions they made on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, they've traded for Matt Breida, and they signed Eric Flowers to beef up that offensive line. I like Tua. I like them drafting Tua. I think Tua is going to have a better career than Joe Burrow, like you said earlier. I think Tua is going to learn that offense and get some more experience as the season go along. I think we're going to see Tua start maybe like week 10 or 11 once the Miami Dolphins are out of the playoff picture. But again, I like Brian Flores as a head coach. And the Miami Dolphins, though, their schedule is going to be tough the first 4 weeks. The first month of their schedule, they are going to be playing 3 different playoff teams. So that first month is going to be hard for the Miami Dolphins. That's why I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. But I do think they're going to have a decent season. Now let's get to the Buffalo Bills. Last year, the Buffalo Bills, they went 10-6, and I liked what I saw from Josh Allen. He had 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, completed 59% of his passes. I thought last year he did a great job going through his progression, going through his mechanics, and I thought he improved last year as a quarterback. I still think he needs to relax in the pocket and not get so flustered. If you remember last year in the playoff game against DeShaun Watson and the Texans, Josh Allen was flustered in that playoff game clearance. He was all over the place. And I need him to be a little bit more calm in the pocket so the Buffalo Bills can have some success offensively. I like the fact that they brought in Stephon Diggs from Minnesota. They paired him up with Josh Allen. So I think that's going to help Josh Allen having a reliable receiver in Stephon Diggs. They also re-signed Tre'Davious White, one of the best cornerbacks we have in the NFL, and they brought in Josh Norman and E.J. Gaines to help him in the secondary. They pass rush also should be improved. They signed Mario Addison in free agency. They drafted A.J. Epinesa. So I think they're going to do a great job defensively like they did last year and hold teams, under 20 points per game. And if you can do that, you have a chance to win many football games. I also like Sean McDermott as a head coach. I think he's one of the most underrated coaches we have in the NFL. I think the Buffalo Bills are going to have a nice season, and they'll be competing for a playoff spot, in the AFC. Now, when it gets to the New England Patriots, I believe the New England Patriots, bringing in Cam Newton, they're going to be at the top of the AFC East. I like the signing of Cam Newton, and I believe that the New England Patriots should be the favorites in the AFC East because they have Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick is the greatest coach we have in NFL history. Make no mistake about it. Now him being teamed up with Cam Newton, and there are reports out of New England clearance that everyone has positive things to say about Cam Newton. Everyone. They're all saying positive things about him. So I think Cam Newton is going to rejuvenate his career, and I think he's going to prove to all those doubters out there he deserves to not only be a legitimate starter in the NFL, he's a quarterback that can lead his team to the playoffs. I don't like the fact that the Patriots have 8 players who opted out. Dante Hightower, Patrick Chung on that defensive side of the ball. I don't like that those players opted out, but I still think the Patriots should be the favorites in the AFC East. The biggest question for them is going to be, can they overcome all of the players that opted out? Can they overcome those losses? We'll see if they can. And the New York Jets, they're being led by Adam Gase. Don't even get me started with them. So I'm not even going to waste time talking about the Jets.
I know you saved it for last, man. You saved it for last.
So who wins the AFC East?
Man, look, I've been saying this all year. The Buffalo Bills winning the AFC East because they're the most balanced team in the AFC East on both sides of the ball. And I believe in a coach like Sean McDermott because he brings a nice foundation to Buffalo. And, you know, Buffalo, they have some loyalty fans. They love them. When Stephon Diggs got there, they even named a burger after him. A burger. Like, and it shows you the lore of the Bills, man.
I think it's going to be a tight race throughout the entire season. I think once we get to December, I think the Patriots are going to separate themselves from the Bills. I think the Patriots will win the AFC East with a record of like 10-6, and the Bills will finish at like 9-7. I think the Bills have a shot at a wild card spot, but I think I'm going to give the Patriots the edge over the Bills because I believe in Cam Newton and Bill Belichick over Josh Allen and Sean McDermott. So I'm going to give a slight edge to the New England Patriots, but it's going to be a battle between the Patriots and the Bills. I think the Dolphins finished third in the AFC East. I think the Jets finished last.
It's going to be a very interesting one. But for Buffalo, this would be their first AFC East title since 1995. I'm expecting them to bring it home, bring it to Buffalo, man.
Let's go down to the South. Let's talk about the AFC South. Last year, the AFC South was led by the Houston Texans with the 10-6 record. The Tennessee Titans went 9-7, Colts 7-9, Jags 7-10. What's your expectations for each team in this division?
To me, this division is kind of tricky though because you got like three different play styles of teams in this division. Like, well, you got two. Well, believe it or not, the Titans and the Colts, they got the similar type of style, but the Titans have the overall, in my opinion, because they have the better vertical threat on their team. But for this Houston team, DeShaun Watson, you just got paid. It's time for you to show up and lead this team. Lead this team to victory and show that you can play in this league. Now, it's going to be – I think this is going to be a bumpy road for him because at the time, looking at his schedule, I think it's going to be times that he has to show. Even tomorrow, he has to show tomorrow on NBC against Kansas City Chiefs that he should be the best quarterback in this league. Now, I'm gonna go to Jacksonville real quick. Now, they just dumped everybody off their team. It's a whole big list that we don't want to name. So I expect rebuild out of them, and I think they're gonna be picking at the number 1 pick. I'm gonna just say it right then and there. I'm gonna get that out the way. Now, The Colts, I believe the Colts can make a playoff run because they have a future Hall of Fame quarterback in Phillip Rivers, one of the best offensive lines in the NFL, and a good run game. I think they utilize that more in Phillip Rivers, and he still can show he can throw the ball in this game. That can be a huge strength and a big upgrade for them. But their receiving core kind of scared me. Now, I want to lead this to the Tennessee Titans because you know why. Big Derrick Henry and elite quarterback Ryan Tannehill. I think these two guys right here, they gonna lead this team in the playoffs. They signed Jadeveon Clowney, that right there is a big upgrade on their defense right there. And I think they can actually make a Super Bowl push if they keep it all together, man.
Okay, so let's start off with the Texans. They just locked up DeShaun Watson on a 4-year, $156 million new extension. So that was a great move by Houston, locking in their future, franchise quarterback. And DeShaun Watson is well-deserved. I've been on record saying that I believe if Patrick Mahomes wasn't in Kansas City and he was in Houston, and if DeShaun Watson wasn't in Houston and he was in Kansas City, I think DeShaun Watson would have a Super Bowl championship on his resume and a Super Bowl MVP. I think he would have similar accomplishments as Patrick Mahomes. I believe in DeShaun Watson. He's been a winner since he's been playing football and since he's been in the NFL for sure. I have no questions about DeShaun Watson's leadership. My question is about Bill O'Brien as a general manager, because you traded away one of the best receivers we have in the NFL, a reliable target for DeShaun Watson. You traded away DeAndre Hopkins for David Johnson?
He just got paid too.
David Johnson is injury prone. He can't stay healthy. Like, what are you doing, Bill O'Brien? I don't have any questions about Bill O'Brien as a head coach. I have questions about him as a general manager, Clarence. And that's one of the issues that I have with the Texans organization. What are y'all doing letting Bill O'Brien lead this organization as a general manager? It makes no sense. These moves that he's made has made no sense. They brought in Randall Cobb in free agency. Randall Cobb, I love Randall Cobb. I loved him as a Packer. He was a reliable target for Aaron Rodgers. But Randall Cobb is not to be confused with elite. Like, he's not, he's not on that level. So I just think overall, like, I like the Houston Texans. I like what them as a team, but I just think they got questions because of Bill O'Brien. And that's what I got. When it comes to the Titans, I like Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is balling out. Hold on, Clarence. Hold on.
Yeah, like what you were saying about Randall Cobb, I think that's a high price, low risk. I mean, high risk. I think you pay him almost $9 million a year, and that right there made a decision. Like, can he even stay healthy though, Trey? That right there was a questionable about why did you sign this guy? You have plenty of receivers that's probably still out there in the free agency, but the scheme you running, they want to run as fast as they can. They want to be a deep vertical team.
Yeah, I'm having some things going on, bro, outside of the show right now I got to handle. But I want to say this about the Titans. I don't believe in Ryan Tannehill like you do. They signed him to a new contract in the offseason, but I got my questions about Ryan Tannehill leading a team. I like Derrick Henry. I think Derrick Henry is a top 7 or 8 running back in the NFL, and he did great leading them to the AFC Championship. But I just got questions about Ryan Tannehill overall. As a quarterback, being able to lead this team. I think defensively they got better bringing in Jadeveon Clowney. They just recently signed Clowney, so bringing him in free agency is going to help them on defense. I like the Titans. I do. I think they're well coached by Mike Vrabel. And I was impressed with that run they made last year in the AFC playoffs. But I still got my questions about Ryan Tannehill. I don't believe in Ryan Tannehill like you do. And I think they could have saved some money if they brought in Andy Dalton or even Nick Foles over Ryan Tannehill. I don't think Ryan Tannehill is significantly better than Andy Dalton or Nick Foles, if at all. But
he's definitely better than them two guys you just stated.